Welcome back. Another episode.
Another episode.
Another day. Another dollar. So today, guys, we're gonna be talking about a very interesting topic. And for those who don't know us, my name is Levo.
And I'm Briam.
So we'll be talking about the importance of voting, and it's a very, very, very important subject because in South Africa currently I feel like the voter turnaround has been declining, and guys, we want to encourage you, especially those who have voted in the past or the new voters, to go there and show up, vote, and but we'll try to give the reasons why you guys should vote.
Oh yes.
What do you think?
I think as young people, we are always complaining about what the government doesn't do for us or what they do for us. And this is the time where we have to be responsible and actually do something for ourselves. And I think voting is one of those privileges that we mustn't take
For granted.
Yes, we mustn't take for granted because people actually died for us to have this right to vote. So yeah, I'm looking forward to unwinding this topic today.
So I had to bring out some stats for what I said, because you guys gonna because we're gonna fact check ourselves.
Forgive us, we don't have a fact
forgive
check.
us, guys. We don't have a fact checker. Maybe probably one day we will have a fact checker.
Yeah.
But what I was saying, like in 1994, the voter turnout was like 86.87%. That
was high, yeah.
And this is given because it was our first time the majority of people, which is black people, colored, Indian, were allowed to vote and make decisions into a government. Fast forward, 2019, we saw a decrease. It went down to 66.1%.
So from 80 to 60.
66, yeah. That's a
decline. Yeah, that's a massive decline.
And guess what? For the municipal elections that happened in 2021, it was more worse. It was 45.86
from 80.
From 66
of
the national to 45.
45 of the municipality.
And they say majority of this decline is due to young people, the youth, not voting.
Yeah. That's the reason we are having this podcast today, right?
That's the reason.
People.
Yeah, because this is dropping today, Monday. So hopefully you guys will take this message with you going to the election and when you guys make the decisions. So
Wednesday is not a public holiday to just sleep.
Yeah,
okay,
you must
go and vote.
go and stand there and burn some calories by standing and walking. Yeah, but if you go early, I think you'll be done quickly. Because some people wake up, eh?
It's gonna be fun. Also, we can do TikToks there and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's open a voting challenge. X.
Anyway, so what do you want to focus today on?
I think
because it's a very broad
it's
subject.
Very broad.
Yeah.
I think let's try to make them understand why it is
the importance of voting.
Let's try to give some history into this. Okay. And in the past, let's say the apartheid period and colonialism, how did voting evolve, especially for our country? Let's take them so that they can see and understand. Or this thing didn't just come on a silver plate.
No,
people died.
Yeah,
you see. So, what's your understanding in terms of the Constitution of South Africa? Since even the previous states even were not involved, it's recognized.
They still voted back then before the democratic government, right?
Yeah, but it was minority people.
Yeah, it was the white people who were voting. Yes.
So let's start with the timelines. Let's say in 1910, there was a legislature which was issued. Which majority of white people took the land, and especially productive land, and took it on under their own control. And that legislature or constitution that was known as the native or Bantu thing, which didn't allow majority of black people
to own land.
Okay. You see, and those who own that land, it will be the kings, and some of those it was negotiated between those British or Afrikaners, so that they can recognize this guy, because maybe he had some powerful soldiers, some were sellouts. They were given power because of sellouts. But look at the areas that they were staying at. It's not like nice area. Like I look at Sekhukhune, it's around mountains.
Yeah, it's not productive land.
You can't do nothing.
You can only hike there.
Yeah, you see. Then I look where I come from, Muleji. It's very dry and it's very hard to get rains.
Yeah.
And you are fortunate you coming from Venda, the mighty Venda.
But remember, the things were a little bit different, because I think Venda was one isolated state.
Also,
when they did the
Shumela Venda.
those land demarcations.
Yeah.
Yes. So. Yeah, that also, I don't think Venda was that affected in terms of owning land. But you can see the results now, that the most farms, they are not owned by our native people.
Yeah, I get you. So my point is that during that 1910, when those laws were introduced, a lot of black people were not happy about the situation. So what did they do? They protested against that.
Yeah, they formed groups.
Groups and different programs to show that they are not happy for being excluded, especially on land. Then fast forward 1912, the mighty ANC
was formed. Yes.
It was formed to fight for land. So let's not confuse the freedom that we have today, the freedom was to vote. The freedom was never to vote. It was for the land question.
So the main, you were saying that the main reason ANC was formed back then was to fight the land conflicts.
Conflicts, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So that we as isizwe sabantu
Abamnyama,
we are involved in this land. It's Israel, you guys. It's our land.
Oh, so this thing of what do they call it?
PAC, Israel.
No, like this compensation of what? Land compensation?
Yeah, those are some programs.
So I'm saying they started way back. It's just that they didn't have that formal name for it.
Yeah.
Right? But people have been fighting for land for a long time.
So as we go, years goes, Vervoet government, the National Party, around 1953, they come into power, and in 1961 they issued a new constitution, and which made things worse. Now that's where now this segregation became worse, where black people now were like, you felt it, like when you are black, the Europeans.
The isolation really started.
Where we now
Gazankulu, Venda, Transkei, Ciskei, what's the other one? Botswana, Zululand,
Transkei, Transvaal.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So even in those segregated states, there were areas dedicated for black people, called townships, for examples, and rural areas where they know you can't do anything. Yeah. You see.
So this is where Soweto, Alexandra, Mamelodi, all those townships developed from there.
And look at
the areas are really, they're not that productive,
and they're all the same, because I was driving through Seshego, I'm like, it looks like
Soweto.
It looks like Protea Clan. It just looks like Zola. I don't see like the same special design.
Yes.
Even if it's different.
Remember in social sciences when we did those like planned and unplanned
Unplanned.
turns. They really look like that.
And there was a purpose, because if you look the way they are designed, we don't have trees, like a lot of trees, like the suburbs.
Like here.
So they wanted us to suffocate and die. So it's very important, guys, to understand already. Voting is not just exercising a. It's not like it's a choice.
No, it's coming from people sacrificed a lot for you to have the right to vote. Yeah.
And if people sacrificed, we need to honor them,
We
guys.
need to.
Because a lot of blood spilled on this, and some families actually they don't know some of their family members where they're buried, because they were killed by the apartheid government fighting for this movement for land, and now they get killed, buried somewhere else, so that they can hide evidence. And also, some people had to move. Like, let's say you're coming from Gauteng, you had to run to Limpopo because you hear that in Limpopo they're treating them nicely.
You can hide a little
You
bit.
can hide.
So, okay, fast forwarding to
1994.
94, yes.
So in 1994, what happened? So around 1990, let's say,
90, yes.
the great man Nelson Mandela was released. So Nelson Mandela was part of some group of young people who were radical within ANC, because ANC was fighting for the land, but they decided that the way they are fighting for this land, it's not as progressive as like getting results. So they formed movements like Umkhonto weSizwe.
That's what I was about to ask you. What is the relation between ANC and MK?
So the MK Kazuma,
not the current one, the one that the original MK.
Okay. So it seems like they're still original, but because they still have some people that are from both sides. But what happened then is that you have Boom, Nelson Mandela, and other guys, Chris Hani, you name them. They formed this to go for the arms struggle, meaning that we're going head to head.
They wanted to physically fight.
Yeah. Yes. So their aim was to render this country dysfunctional. So they will get arms, get training in Russia, get support from Cuba, get some explosive. Then they'll bomb electrical infrastructure. So that, remember, electricity, some of us as black people, we started to experience it post 1994. That's why the load shedding that we're experiencing, I know the current government, it's complacent, but some is because the demand of those power stations that we have.
They were not originally meant for the us. Amount of people we have now. Okay.
There were too many.
Yeah, the demand is more than the supply.
Look at the towns, like there's so many new development areas, like every day you come here, you pass Pretoria, they tell you that it's Moshongoville. You go this side, they tell you that's Juju Valley. Like there's always something mushrooming, and imagine those people need the electricity.
Yeah.
And the way the development is happening versus the infrastructure that government is providing, it's not at the same.
It's not linear progression.
We should look up to China, guys. Yeah, but anyways, those guys, they formed
90. You were talking about 1990. And then,
yes,
we are moving towards to.
I'm trying to side back to
MK.
To MK. But okay, they formed this movement. Some people fought. They fought with the apartheid special forces, and they got killed. And some people had to live in other countries.
What do they call it? They became refugees in other countries.
No. They
go to exile. Yes, they go to exile.
Yeah, most of those who came from exile, guys, you know the story. They're tycoons right now. So, and we're not sure if they were enjoying life, because some came up with babies that are famous now. And, let's leave it. But it's understandable, because comrades, you understand. You are in exile, and you have your friends and your families. Yeah, but let's not name and shame.
Okay.
MK, then there was they call it the Freedom Charter. So various groups within South Africa came together to agree. Those groups are like you have Indian movements. Those were
So everybody who was segregated came together. Yeah. So they formed a coalition.
Not necessarily
something like that.
An agreement, like common points. So, okay, these are the things that we're fighting for. They were fighting for education, free education, which is among them the land,
good health system, just to be included in everything that the other people are getting.
Yeah, because it was painful. Because I'm trying to.
You think it was painful as if you were like that?
Guys, I'm an ancestor, guys. I feel that pain.
Lebukan is actually reliving the moment.
I'm reliving this moment.
No,
I was once
the moment
killed.
because we won't get to the point.
So, but I want to
watch Sarafina too much.
It did, right?
Because even if you were watching Sarafina, you can see the pain in that movie. Like the way it. Because I shared.
No, I'm going to be Lebukan's, tracker, because now he's going to Sarafina. No. We're talking about the agreement.
The agreement. So they had that freedom charter. Then with the freedom charter, when some leaders like Nelson Mandela they came out of jail, which is Robben Island. It made it look like our struggle was
over
for freedom.
Is it? Oh, I see what you're saying now.
And
we lost the plot.
We lost the plot. And the plot was the land. And on that land we can get plot, guys.
That was a good part. That was a good part.
So guys, we lost that. Then now we started to focus on voting. Then 1994 we voted. The National Party tried to they ran for the election. ANC, IFP, you have your ASAPO, you have your PAC, and
DA. Was DA there?
No.
When did DA come?
DA is 2000. 2000 with DA. Yeah, I'm 2K. So you have these struggle movement that were part of, because they were breakaways of ANC. So this breakaway of ANC, when you see MK mushrooming, EFF, didn't start now.
It has been happening before.
In the past, because PAC, for example, Robert Sobukwe started PAC because he saw that ANC now was trying to include a lot of people and fight for everyone. And when they fight for everyone,
they miss the objective.
The objective, even they forget about the real struggle.
Yeah, what was the main reason this thing started?
Yeah.
So, in the first place.
My takeaway point, guys, that I want you to get from this conversation is that people died. And it was a painful struggle. It was not just easy. I feel like currently we can use what's happening between Israel and Palestine. You see how Gaza was just demolished. It might not be exactly the same, but you see babies being carried away. There were massacres, different massacres that happened. Famous one, the Sharpeville's. There was other massacres that happened after that 1910, when that constitution was introduced, that act that segregated us and they took the land from us.
Yeah.
And so voting is not, especially here in South Africa, I don't think it's by choice.
It's not a choice.
You must do it. People died. You must honor them.
Like what I'm actually thinking now is, if you don't vote, like, you are actually increasing the chances of us being led by people who don't care for us, right?
True.
So obviously you're not gonna go there and vote for people that are not showing responsibilities. But if you sit at home, you are giving them power, you are giving them an advantage, even if maybe the particular parties that you're looking for don't win, but at least they'll get seats in the parliament, which is a voice, right? Because you not going there means they get less seats and less people that are going to represent us.
I agree.
So yeah, I feel like let's not be spoiled brats.
And we are spoiled brats.
Yeah, let's
take this as a choice. Like, okay. then okay, what are some of the reasons that we're hearing from our friends? Or
The reasons, I think the most common reason is man, like nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
We still have load shedding. We still have unemployment rate
High
high.
rate.
We still have bad education. Schools are no infrastructure.
Some school still using their toilets.
But there's a lot of excuses, Joe. Like
there are no desk, chairs missing.
Like, you know what's my problem? Even if you're naming all these things, after you have named them, if you don't go and vote, are they gonna change? If you don't go vote, no, they're not gonna change. If you go vote, probably not gonna change, but at least there will be somebody.
You made your own say, or okay, I trust this guy. And you can complain then, or
that
they have voted for you and you're not
doing anything.
What's happening? You complain. No, you can't be unruly and be busy chowing our money.
You know, there's a saying that most foreign people say, like most people who are not South African, they say about us, saying that South Africans are spoiled. I feel like after 1994, black people, we lost the plot. Literally, we lost. You know, that drive, that fight that people had.
But is it because I'm sorry to make example using a cage. Let's say you lived in a cage for long.
Yeah.
And with strict rules
and
that forbid that
they let you go.
And they let you go.
And then you just become a rebel. Yeah, it's like
you
that.
go crazy. And for example, another important thing, South Africa has an alcohol problem.
Yes.
We are a country that loves alcohol. And this is due to a pattern that in apartheid, we couldn't access the alcohol. The alcohol that was being made was done by
traditional beer.
Yeah. And now but you know that like by just taking chances and hoping there's no spy within the community that will report, okay, house number 55 on Chrisani Street or whatever, Potter Street. There were no Chrisani Street then. But yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They will pimper you. They were in PMPs. We heard Cyril Kota saying something about Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't want to get that, but yeah. Apparently Cyril sold Cyril Kota. It was crazy. But
wait, no, we missed that high five. Let's do it again.
No. But my point is that some of the reason is because people we feel like there's no change, and it's not always the case, guys. We just read the stat. If all those youth, like they went out there, because if they say 45.82%, they didn't go to vote. Then it means the other side it's probably 44.
You mean in the local?
No, the percentage of people who could have voted it would be like around 44.
It's around 44 point something. Yes.
0.74, 0.14% of people who didn't vote, and that could be a serious change.
That's a change, bro.
You see, because you're complaining about the current government that is in place, which is ANC. Should we name and shame?
No, like
it's obvious.
Them,
yeah. And this message, there are many countries voting this year. It's not only South Africa. I feel like United States is going for
elections as well.
And the black people that side, they face similar
struggles
to us, like apartheid, because they were not allowed to vote and they were oppressed. So I feel like if you are watching this internationally from Africa and everywhere, it applies to you, because there are other African countries that are having votes this year.
In other African countries,
yeah, that's another point. That in other African countries,
there's no freedom.
There's not this well-bred way
mentality.
You can just
say I'm sleeping. It's a public holiday. I'm not going to vote.
You remind me of a story of one of my friend from varsity. He was coming from Zimbabwe, a place called Motari. So he was saying during the reign of the great Robert Mugabe, he used to force people to go and vote. And you're not just gonna vote for whatever you like.
You vote for
ZANU-PF, Papa.
ZANU-PF.
You're gonna be trapped. He was telling me that he saw men with boots trapping his grandmother and mom. Those are women because they decided not to go and vote.
Yeah, but here we have like that freedom to do whatever we want, and no one is going to beat you. But we don't
nothing is gonna change. How will you know? Your vote is very important.
Yeah.
Like you might feel like you are just an individual, but imagine we add those.
Like in each household, there's 2 people who are not voting, who are in the legal age of voting. If you actually look at the census number of houses, and you take 2 people per house, and you multiply that by the number of houses, then you'll see that it's a very significant number.
It's very significant because now I remember that I saw something on the news on Twitter. There were elections happening this weekend for people who are abroad.
Yes, international people already voted. I was so shocked. I didn't know that.
Those guys don't live in South Africa.
But they voted.
They voted. And they voted for political parties that they know will favor their own school of thoughts.
Because their international travels.
Yeah. And even that won't even touch the land question. We just told you guys. The struggle was not for voting.
It was for
the land. And we haven't even addressed that. And
we forgot it.
When we're putting it under the carpet. And when we voice it out, it seems like we're rebel. And some people are afraid to say this in corporate because they feel like they will be perceived as like you are radicalist. But that's the truth.
Corporates actually do that to people. They actually tell you directly that you're not allowed to vocalize your political standings, your political thoughts, or whatever political something that you have. So you must just be a neutral person. And there's no such, whether we like it or not, politics.
You can feel it in the air.
Politics affects our lives.
Everything, like the bread that you eat,
everything, everything. It comes from farming. Whose farm? Like, do you understand? Whose land? Like,
even thinking about the price of bread currently, it's so crazy. Remember?
So yeah, I feel like I didn't want this podcast to just be us bombarding people with information that they already know. You guys most of us, we already know these things. What we need to focus on is waking up on Wednesday on the 29th, right? Waking up, going and making your voice heard through voting.
So a question then will be like, okay, there are different political parties there. Help us at least try to understand, unpack which one. Not necessarily.
Where should you vote?
Yeah,
I feel like also we must be
spectrum.
careful with that, because what I'm thinking now is, they say it's your vote, your secret, but to be honest, is it really a secret? I don't think so. It's at the end of the day, everybody must make a choice. Like,
true. People
go out there talking about, oh no, this party, this party, that, but for clout. But when they actually go into the ballot,
they go for this very same
people join you. Just like, so now I feel like let's make a choice.
Talking about that, Moses, our production guy, please, I don't know how you do it. I'm just gonna check some stats. There was a poll made by ENCA.
Oh yeah, I saw that one as well.
Yeah, so the poll, it was shocking to see that these very guys.
So that I have it here.
Yeah,
so it says that this was done by ENCA, right?
Yeah.
So they say, what are the crucial issues at the top of SA's voters' mind? These questions were put to registered voters, and then this is the results of the poll. Yeah, it's quite a lot. Like, do you want to take us through that?
Yeah, I can take you guys. So this was a poll done on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about five provinces.
Yes.
And the whole national result outcome of this, it shows that the ANC is still gonna win. It's gonna be around 40.9%.
40.9%.
43 nationally, the big one.
Oh, the one that, 43.4%.
Yeah. Then followed by the DA,
0.6.
18.6. MK, shocking, eh? 14.4. Yo,
Yeah.
for a newcomer. Because I
Right,
remember.
they even topped EFF.
Guys, be careful. Then there's an EFF there, 11.4 percent,
yes.
and others 9.4, which
then IFP at the bottom with
3.1%.
Yeah.
And the IFP one might be due to the fights happening between the ANC and the king, Mrs. Zulu.
Yeah.
Because it seems like
the other politics. Yeah, but
then the disappointing part here. Guys, kgopela go bolela batho ba Limpopo. Di compare o amba na
batho ba Limpopo.
Guys, ANC in Limpopo 74%.
Like, you know what? There's that mentality of if we take ANC away from voting, from government, we're going to lose some of the privileges that we have from the existing government. I think, and majority of people who vote in Limpopo, it's not young people. Young people in Limpopo are not in Limpopo. That's one thing that you must remember. But most of us, we are scattered all over the country. So we don't make the majority of voters at home. Like me, I've seen in my village, if you go now during like working week, you'll find students, you'll find old people, and then you'll find a couple of young people that maybe are still hustling for employment. But majority of our people are in Gauteng and all these places of business where they're trying to make.
But this is disappointing, guys. Limpopo, please. You seen that in 2012 when CAPS was introduced, some students didn't get the books for CAPS.
They didn't get books, yeah. Villages books came
even there are no roads currently. At least a main road that passes your village. There are only few villages that you can count since 1994.
Yeah, so that's the stats, bro. Like, I feel like
Eastern Cape. No, it's what? Eastern Cape.
Yeah, Eastern Cape 61.3%.
What's happening? Fundini. My brothers. Sukuika, guys. Sukuika. Why are you afraid? Guys, Eastern Cape is worse because we see when it's raining. Rivers, they
go through those bridges, the so-called bridges, and people can't go to hospitals, they can't go to school, they can't go to work. At funerals, I get it. You can always bury the person the next day.
No, there are videos trending on Twitter where you see this village in Eastern Cape, they carry a coffin crossing a river because
full river.
Yeah, and because they can't pass those.
Yeah. Okay.
And you look at the project that are happening in Eastern Cape.
Let's see who actually tried to take these ones out. But even Gauteng has 40.9%. So.
Yeah, but we see you, Gauteng. We see you. Guys, we are not anti-ANC, but ANC, according to me,
they had enough chance, man. I feel like they need to go and restart.
They're too relaxed.
No, I feel like, you know what must happen? I think they must lose power. They must go and rediscover themselves. Think of why the party was formed in the first place and go back to the roots. Then come back and show us that actually we understand where South Africans are currently. Because, you can't be complaining about apartheid. It's been 30 years now since 94. And things are just getting from bad to worse.
Talking about ANC need to discover themselves. So in the whole world, there are two political sides a political party can fall into. It's either you're on the far right or the far left. And the difference between the two, it's just the policies that they apply. So the far left, mostly political parties that you can find in South Africa that are far left is your MK, because they want to change the constitution, they want to take the land, and they want the people to govern, especially the majority, and to benefit out of that. So they apply things like your Leninist, Marxist principles in the way they shape, which is more of a socialist. They want equality.
They want people to have a voice, basically.
The voice, even the government wants to be involved in giving those people.
Yeah.
And you have the far right, which is pro free markets. Free markets is where the government, they don't do much for the people. The government just do bare minimum, and the people are supposed to make sure they find that job, and companies need to drive all those developments. And most, we know the risk of that is that private companies chase profit.
Yeah.
We can see what's happening with tender system. I say build me 5 toilets. You go and build them. You quote me. You say 65 million. Like that's
and you don't even do the amount of work that is worth that 65 million.
65.
Even though you overcharge, you still under deliver. Like it's bad. Yeah.
So then you have those other political parties that are on the side, in between. They
don't know what they're doing.
They don't want to go too much that side. They don't want to be too, because they want to please everyone.
Where's EFF in this?
EFF is the far left because it's a socialist.
And then where's DA?
And DA is on the center right. We can't say it's far right because far right is radicalism, and so it's far right. Then you have your FF Plus, Freedom
Front Plus, yes.
Yeah, Freedom Front Plus, which is on the far right, because they are fighting for the minority to also have to benefit out of the country, because they feel like when governments introduce things like land reclaims, or what do they call it, land without compensation. Expropriation.
Expropriation of land without compensation.
They feel like
it's compensation.
It's discrimination to them, and also the tender system, the way in business are happening, because you have to ensure that you meet the triple BE statuses. You have to have black people in there.
So they feel like they are being excluded.
From opportunities, and now the new apartheid, according to them, it's
black people.
Yeah, okay. So it's the idea from on the other side. Then you have political parties like UDM, which is more based on ethics. They want to eradicate corruption, but they are on the same.
They're on the same.
So we're not sure, or when they're given the power, how things are. You see.
Yeah, they're not really vocal about things.
Yeah. So on the far right, far left, you have EFF. You have ATM, which is African Transformation Movement. So the far left, I feel like it makes sense for South Africa
to try anyone within that side.
For me, because guys, we've been a lot. Imagine
what are you saying?
The country is run by government, which is on the far right, which says for you you need to work for what you need to have.
But you know what?
But forgetting only white people, and I'm intentional, they benefited a lot. How are we gonna catch up when as someone is sitting on 20 billion, I'm having 2 rand, and with that 2 rand I must buy land so I can be a farmer.
No, you won't buy land. So let me actually tell you what I personally believe, that there was a thing going on social media this week where a certain celebrity said that South African youth, not only are they not employed, they are also not employable, right?
I remember
and then she got attacked for saying that. But when you actually think about it, it ties up to that episode we had about is our education system giving us enough for us to be ready for the market, for business and whatever. So now what I took from that whole thing is, first of all, as a person, you can't wait for the government. We are going to vote, but in the meantime, as young people, let's shy away from the mentality of waiting for things to be brought to us, right? Let's learn skills. Like the amount of time I spend on TikTok, if I had actually learned a skill, then now I'll be a pro. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
So now what I'm saying is, let's try and learn skills. So someone was like, I have an engineering degree, I'm unemployed. then you want me to go learn how to do nails. I'm like, if you actually look at it from a logic perspective, nail techs, they charge maybe, let's say, 280 per person to do your nail sets, and you have maybe 5 customers, 6 customers a day. You have 5 times 31 customers in a month.
Yeah.
Yes, and then maybe you can make over 8,000 rand in a month, right? That 8,000 rand does something to your life, rather than you being an unemployed graduate who has 0 rands. You have gained absolutely nothing that month, and you're saying that because when you hold an engineering degree, you're not going to drag yourself down to that level. And at this point, you're not even dragging yourself down, because that person made 8K, you made nothing. So they actually.
So the point I think like we are missing here is that we try to make it look like people are lazy, and they are not.
Yeah.
People are trying, but there's how far can you go?
Yes.
And let's say maybe you wanna increase your business. That business now you got that skill, but now you wanna expand it.
Yes.
There's a barrier. You don't have funds.
No,
to
I get you.
train more people.
We need to start wrapping up now. Yeah.
So most of those initiatives by the far left, it's to address the barriers, not just people to be lazy and be nasty.
So making opportunities available, like opening doors.
Open them and
so
help them
what are
grow.
your closing remarks on this topic?
So
we are voting next week, so
yeah. So guys, at least now you know my vote. Those political parties
the
on
left
the far
side,
left,
yeah.
superior logic. You can see it on the table.
Yes.
I'm pro Pan African because we need to be one Africa. We can do better than being dependent on imperialist or other countries which want to control and steal our resources.
Yeah. So my final remarks is just wake up, man. Like wake up, dress up, go and show up and actually vote. Like for me, it doesn't matter who you vote for, but as long as you know that you have made a decision to vote for somebody, that's enough for me.
And I just remembered some of the key takeaways, guys. If you go, no, not if you are going to vote. When you're going to vote, please wear some comfortable shoes. Make sure you carry some water to dehydrate, because some queues.
To hydrate.
Yeah, to hydrate, not to dehydrate. For dehydration, because you're gonna be dehydrated. In the process.
And take your ID with.
Yes. And make sure you have your own pen, because there's a flu doing rounds. And guys,
make sure you have your own pen.
Yeah, because you don't want to experience. Don't share pens, and stay safe, and dress something comfortable,
warm.
Check the weather. All the best, guys.
All the best, guys.
And
I hope all of us are going to vote.
Because the result that I've seen here, guys. Eastern Cape and Limpopo.
Limpopo, bro.
You can do better.
We
love you. Stay blessed.